I felt, and the Japanese love Koji Yakusho very, very, very much. He's very much revered in his country. So I really was a little bit shocked when they called me and said, this is Japanese entry to the Oscars. But then I thought, well, they sent Koji into the race, and I'm
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
How
Hi
are you?
in English.
Yeah, no, I know. It's gonna be in English. How are you?
Fine. Fine.
Good. So I'm gonna start with you, Vin. It's a pleasure to talk to you and it's amazing. But what was about the toilets in Japan, the Shibuya project that caught your attention to do this movie?
Well, the original invitation was to come to check out these architects and their tiny works. They usually build big things, and now they built small things. And the invitation was if I would come and see if it would inspire me to do little subjects on the toilets and their creators. And I loved being invited to Tokyo and any excuse to go there again. And I missed it. I was homesick, so I went. And I liked the toilets, but I felt there was a bigger story to do behind that than just to do some documentary featurettes on the architects and their works. I felt there was an amazing moment in time in Tokyo. It was the end of the longest lockdown. Tokyo was almost locked for 2 years, and I felt there was something in the air that interested me, and I felt it was important, and it was the sense of the common good that I watched in Tokyo and the responsibility for their public parks and streets and toilets. And it was all really different than in Europe, where I felt that the biggest victim of the pandemic had been a sense of the common good. So I realized there was a bigger thing to tell there. And I loved Japan and Japanese culture and their love of small things and the dedication to craft and service is a different thing than in our civilization. So I thought I talked myself out of the job by telling the producers, I don't think I want to do those short subjects, but in the same time, we could do something that would matter and that would really talk about today and how we feel today and how we can live today after the pandemic. And in the end, the toilets could appear, and that's going to be so much better for the toilets if they're not the center of attention, but if they appear in the background. So I suggested a movie about the caretaker for these toilets. And against all odds, the producer loved the idea. And they said, what do you need to do it? I said, we need a script and we need a great actor. We solved both problems.
Exactly. And then you find Koji. So Koji,
Yes.
what was about Hirayama that got your attention? What was about him and how much you can relate to him?
どういう部分ですか？どう感じますか？
うん。まあ、キャラクターとしてはやっぱり、まあ、前半は本当に言葉を喋らない。で、その彼の過去については何も語られない、そのミステリアスなキャラクターっていうのは、とてもやっぱり台本を読んでて魅力的でした。そして、やっぱりこの公衆トイレの清掃員という職業を持っているというものが何かこうすごくこのキャラクターとして何かすごく何か魅力的な感じがしましたね、最初。はい。
So as a character in the first half of the film, he pretty much never speaks, and that sort of mysteriousness was something that really appealed to me from the very beginning. He is a toilet cleaner, and that character is very unique, and so I felt very attracted to the character just from that simple description.
それよりも何よりも、監督がこの方なので、もう断る理由は何一つない。ぜひ参加したいと思いました。
But most importantly, the director is this person sitting next to me here, so I felt I had no reason at all to turn down the offer.
I think what he's saying is he thought I could handle the toilets.
おそらく私が、トイレをなんとか
I think so too.
トイレしてたし。
So the music, like the music plays a really big part. It's also a character. Are these your personal playlist? The music that you pick was Koji personal playlist, or was something that you guys decided while writing? You wrote this script.
Yes, we wrote the songs into the script because we felt they would so much also help telling the story, and they would unconsciously sometimes fill in the story, and they would talk about the character. And when we did the first song, the first day he drives to work, we put in the animals. The film is almost a little bit like a road movie because every day he drives to his work and comes back. So I suggested House of the Rising Sun, and then I had second thoughts, and I said to Takuma Takasaki, my co-writer, can we do that? Can I impose my own musical taste on this Japanese character? And he says, don't you worry, Wim. We listen to the same music that you were listening to in the 70s, and they were all here, the Rolling Stones, the Kings, Bob Dylan, they all played here. We love them, and we listened to the same music. So don't hesitate. Let's put in the music that you feel is right for the character. And then I said, well, you also have to put some of your favorite music, and all we have to do is agree on something, and then we put it in. And so we DJ'd our way through the script.
Yes. Koji, your character doesn't have, like, there's barely dialogues, and then we figuring out his life towards the end of the movie. How did you build that background story? Like, because I see all your feelings in your face, in your eyes, and it's so beautiful. That's why you won the best actor in Cannes. And how did you create that background story for you?
だから賞を受賞したと思うんですけど、どうやってあれを作り上げたんですか？
そうですね。やっぱり最初の頃は本当に、俳優さんはみんな、書かれてない部分は自分で物語を作って演じるのは仕事だと思いますけれども、それでやってましたけど、監督が撮影の途中で平山の過去について、で特に平山と木漏れ日の関係について非常に具体的に美しいメモをくださいました。それがとても後半に向かって平山の表現に大きな影響を与えてくれたんだと思います。
はい。So, in the beginning, I always feel that it's the actor's work to create a background story. But partway through filming this film, Wim here wrote a memo about the relationship between Komorebi and Hirayama, which really affected how the direction I went with the character in the second half of the film.
Vin, the movie was shortlisted for the Oscars, and how do you feel about it being a German representing Japan this time around?
What makes you think I'm a German?
I don't know. I just did my research.
I'm Japanese at heart with a
Me
German
too.
passport.
Me too, because my husband is half Japanese, so.
Okay. You see, this film is so much about this character. This film is so much driven by this character, and you see the entire world, or in this case, Tokyo, through his eyes, and his eyes are the story of the film. That I felt, and the Japanese love Kôji Yakusho very, very, very much. He's very much revered in his country. So I really was a little bit shocked when they called me and said, this is Japanese entry to the Oscars. But then I thought, well, they sent Koji into the race, and I'm the half German sidekick.
That's
Half
amazing.
German. One half of me is Japanese anyway.
Yeah, I know. I know. I love the Japanese culture as well. So, and I think Tokyo is a beautiful character in the movie as well. What was like the challenge, like filming there? If you have any challenge, then.
The challenge was that we had to reduce our means so much. Like part of Hirayama's character is reduction and only having what he needs. Like he reads a book and only when he finishes, he buys another one, but he doesn't buy two. He buys just one. And he photographs one film, and when he's finished with the end of the film, then he gives it back to develop, and then he buys one more. So we felt we also should reduce our means. So we told the film with very simple means. We didn't have tracks or dollies or fancy cranes or gimbals or steady camera, any of that. We just had a cameraman with a camera on his shoulder because we also had to shoot fast. And we had to reduce the amount of locations. So if you travel too much from one set to another, you just lose time. So we basically had the place where he lives, the places where he works, and luckily they're all in the same area in Shibuya. And then there's the driving in between and a bar where he goes every night and a bathhouse, and that's about it. So we had to reduce what we see of Tokyo, which was a good thing because I could just choose some of the shots I've always wanted to do in Tokyo, and I've photographed Tokyo a lot. And here, because I had to reduce, I looked at all my photographs and finally decided that's the archetypal image and that is an archetypal image. And I really reduced it. And reduction is such a beautiful, creative instrument. I can only recommend to any filmmaker, don't try to have more and more and more. Having less is a blessing. And I didn't have all that much, all those many ways to show Tokyo. It just was reduced, and reduction helped me a lot.
Yeah, less is more. I think it's also part of the Japanese culture,
Yes,
less is more.
exactly.
So I think your movie reflects the actual culture. That's why I think the Japan choose your movie to represent them.
Now you gave me an explanation. Thank you.
I don't know. I try. I love it. So, Koji, what people can expect of the movie that is gonna now everybody's gonna be able to see, not just us on the award circuit.
I'm sorry, the question was, what do you expect of the movie?
Yeah, what we can expect of the movie? I'm sorry.
これからこの映画は、に関してはどのようなことが期待できると思いますか？これから映画館でリリースされてたくさんの人に見られると思いますけれども。
まあ、監督はこの映画はそんな大きな公開ではなくても、どこかの劇場で長く上映されているような映画になるといいなとおっしゃってました。確かにそういう映画になってきているのかなと思います。今、日本でも非常にその上映関数は大きくはないんですけれども、毎回本当に満席の状態でこの映画は非常に観客の人に支持を得ているので、なんとなくこれからどんどん長い間愛される映画になるといいなと思ってます。
So, I was speaking to Wim about the theatrical release, and he was saying that this, might not be a huge release in terms of number of theaters, but that hopefully it will be the kind of film that'll play in a theater someplace for a very long time. And I think maybe that's what will be possible. And even now, there aren't a ton of theaters in Japan that are showing this film, but the ones that are pretty much always packed, and they fill the theater. So I think this film will be beloved for a long time.
Same in Germany. The theater, it plays now for 3 weeks, and the theaters are still completely packed.
今でも満席の状況
Same in Italy and France.
イタ
So
リアとフランス。そう
we are not a blockbuster movie,
Mm,
but the
blockbuster.
theaters keep the film and
大変そう映画じゃないんですけ
people
ど
come more in the
映画が
second and even more in the third
広い
week
長く
because there's a very good word of mouth, because the film speaks to people.
ほう
And there's not many films that address the question, how should we live now that we've all passed the pandemic and that life hasn't become less complicated, but it's getting more complex and there's wars in the world and how should we live? And the film opens that question in a way that people really are moved and follow some of the advices that our character is giving them without words, of course.
Amazing. I just want to thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to meet you both. Arigatou gozaimasu. And I see you next time.
Thank you, Jana.
Ciao.
Thank you, Jana-san.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.